Hello everyone, this is Evan Abrams for PremiumBeat.com, and in this After Effects tutorial, I'll be creating fireworks using shape layers and vector art in After Effects. It's really quite simple, it's easy to duplicate, and it'll help you really create a lot of interesting bursts of things in your vector-based projects. So, without further ado, let's set this thing off and get into After Effects. So, here in After Effects, have a look at the work file that created the intro here. You can see there are a lot of things going on, but each of these is just a duplication of the main thing that we're going to be creating. So, we have one of them, we have two of them, then we have three of them, and then we have just a whole bunch that go off. So what we're going to do is we're going to delve down into one of these, and we're just going to create one of them, all right? So it's a line and then a burst of colorful triangles, right? So if we zoom in, we have many colorful triangles. So let's get into it and make one of those. So I'm going to start by creating a new composition. It is HDTV 1080 29.97, but you can create yours any size you'd like, and I'm just going to hit OK. In this, the first thing I want to do is create the bursting. And I do that by creating a shape layer, and I'm going to create a polygon. So go here to the polygon tool and set the settings you would like. I'm going to just set the fill to be white, totally bright, and we're going to take the stroke off. We don't need one of those. And then just double click on the polygon tool. It's going to start by making you a really great pentagon here. We want triangle, so set the points down to 3. You can get to this by twirling down into the contents, twirling down into the polystar, twirling down into the polystar path. So set that to be 3. The outer radius, I'm going to set that at 100. Doesn't need to be very big. And now I'm going to twirl down into things like the transform, and I would also like to get down here into the transform of the layer overall. I'm going to want to set keyframes for the scale, for the position of the polystar path. Let's set one of those. And I'm also going to want to set one for the scale of the triangle. So the difference here is that this scale governs only the polystar group, and this scale is for the entire layer. So it's important to remember. So let's start us off. I'm going to set here 50, 0, meaning it is going to be just a squished, flat little thing there, so not much to write home about. And I'm going to leave its position starting at 0, 0. And overall, I'm going to start the scale at 0. So now I'm going to move ahead about 20 frames or so. The scale is going to end at 100. So the entire layer is going to scale up uniformly to 100. And the scale of this thing, of just the triangle, is going to go from 50, 0 to 0, 100. So it's going to move and it's going to become a line like this. Now the position, I'm going to adjust to go up to 0, 300. Okay, so have a look at what that looks like. That means that this little thing is going to jump off and push out before disappearing. I'm going to hit U to only have the keyframes that we've created be present. I'm going to hit F9 to easy ease them. I'm going to go into their keyframes. I'm going to grab them. I'm going to push the handles so that all of the handles, all of the motion is starting off fast and then slowing down. So it all has this exponential line easing out. So just like an explosion, it comes out exploding fast and then fades like that. Okay? So we've created one tiny piece that needs to be repeated many times. So go into the contents and add a repeater. And by default, the repeater starts repeating things horizontally. So let's go into the repeater. Let's transform the repeater and change the positional transformation to 0. And we're going to increase the rotational transformation. We're going to want to have 12 copies, meaning the rotation needs to be 360 degrees divided by 12. So that'll evenly space them around 1/12 of a total circle. What does that look like? It looks just like that. So there we go. It is poofing out. I think that's perfectly good. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. So we have, turning off Graph Editor, we have one. We're going to duplicate it to create a second one. Call up U to take its keyframes. And we're just going to offset that one just a little bit so that it takes a little bit longer to complete. And then we're going to adjust the entire layer so that it starts a little bit later. Okay? Now, we are going to adjust on this one its repeater properties. So tap U twice and it'll bring up everything you've edited about the layer. And we are going to alter the copies. So we want 24 copies instead. And we want the rotation to be 360 divided by 24. So there will now be twice as many. Now we are going to rotate this by 360 divided by 24, which will get you 15 degrees. And if you divide this number by 2, then it's going to put them in between the rotation of that first layer. So now you can see they're all coming out just like that. Perfect. So we're going to duplicate that initial layer, move it above. We're just moving it above so that we can organize things. Look at all the keyframes, and we want you to organize them so you've got them in a step. So one frame like that, and then we're going to set 1, 2 frames between this. Okay, and this one we are going to rotate so that it comes in between like this. So it creates this kind of a pattern. So this one's rotated at 15 degrees. This one is rotated at 7.5 degrees. This one is rotated at no degrees. And you have this burst pattern coming out. So looking at these layers, you don't need them to extend any further than the last point at which you can see anything. So you can trim them all to be a little bit smaller. And you trim layers by just selecting the layer, holding down Alt, and then hitting the square bracket, end square bracket. And you can make these faster if you want by just moving this in, so that makes it a faster kind of burst, just like that. But, you know, feel free to do whatever you would like with that. Now, the other element is a line that comes in signifying the rocket going up. That's optional, but I created it by creating a rectangle. And in that rectangle, I am going to adjust its size and position. So its size here is going to be quite thin. So it's going to be like 5 maybe, very, very thin line. It can be even thinner. So maybe something like 3 is even, you know, thin enough. And the size is going to be this number divided by 2, so your frame size divided by 2, and the position is going to be minus 480. So you can see it takes up this much here. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to set keyframes for the size and position. I know at the start I want it to be 0, and then for this to be minus 480, and then minus another 480, so that it's all the way on this edge, and then it expands out, and then it's going to collapse down to be at position 0, 0, and then also to be here at 0, 0. So this is if you want the line to fill all the way up before coming to an end like that, or if you would prefer, you could have the size in the middle only be 480. So it never gets all the way across like a line, but you know, you can see the trail of this is the longest when it's in the middle of its arc, and then you need to easy ease those, and then you are going to want to take those and probably take the middle ones and just smooth those out so that they are smoother. So its graph will look a little bit different, so it looks pretty wacky that graph, I'm not going to lie. So you probably want to adjust the handles of these such that they look kind of like this. So let's have a look at that. So kind of have a hard time getting off the ground, and then it finally goes like that. And if you reset these by holding down Command and then clicking on them, it's going to create sort of a different shape for you. But you get the idea that this is coming up. We're going to set this below these and have these ignite so they start right around there. Okay, around there should be good. So now you can adjust the colors. So I put this one at an orange, sort of like a bright orange, because that's sort of what rocket trails look like, kind of like that. And then these are made to be a color of your choosing. So we could do, red, white, and blue. We could do purple. You could do, anything that you would like. Now you're probably going to say, well, why does it come from the side? That seems a little bit silly. I don't want sideways fireworks. That's just strange. Well, the point of this is so that you're able to use it and reuse it. So I'm just going to adjust the timing a little bit here to make that a little bit faster. Like that. Now we're going to take comp 1. I'm going to drag it onto a new comp here, which is going to give us something that's just this exploding. But now you can take it and you can rotate it, and you can position it like here. So, you can see that rocket kind of shoots up from the side. You can duplicate this. You can move it over here, hold W and have it shoot in from this other side. Having a longer tail on it is going to be great for that. If you want to offset its timing, then you just offset the layer. So click and drag. If you want to change its color, I would recommend that you simply duplicate that firework composition and then change the colors in there, and then hold down Alt and drag that new comp you've created onto there. So for example, this one here, we don't want blue ones, we want red ones. So I'm going to adjust the color to be red, and then this one is a different color, right? And I think that works out pretty well. So if you ever have a vector design and you want to throw in some fireworks, here's how to do it. This has been Evan Abrams for PremiumBeat.com. Hopefully you've enjoyed this After Effects tutorial and it's taught you a thing or two about repeating things. Stop by Premium Beat for all of your music and sound effects needs. I'm sure they have sound effects of fireworks going off, and they have music that goes along with them. And so on. If you want to learn more things, stop on by the Premium Beat blog. There are plenty of tips, tricks, and tutorials from myself and other experts in their field. There's other After Effects experts on there, and there are other people who are experts in other things as well. Premiere, Audition, all sorts of awesome stuff. If you want to see more of my work, check out evanabrams.com or head on over to the EC Abrams YouTube channel. If you have questions about After Effects, hit me up on Twitter at EC Abrams. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. And if you subscribe to Premium Beat in all of its forms on YouTube, on Vimeo, all over the place, then I'll see you around the internet. Thanks again, and have a nice day.